Hello everybody. Today I'm going to begin a series of lectures, and the lectures are entitled How to Bring Out the Best Within Yourself. In order to go there, first of all, we need to know ourselves. The very famous quotation, "Know thyself," has been used by many spiritual leaders of today and years gone by. But do we really know ourselves, and how much do we know ourselves? And we are going to start investigating this. We are going to start looking deeper into ourselves and try to understand who we are. We are going to try and figure out whether we are just one entity, or are we a combination of many entities? Are we just one person, or are we many persons? And what I do as a result of my introspection and what I have found is I divide myself into three. I find three beings in this one person. There is a physical component, there is a mental component, and there is a spiritual component. And it is very important for me to understand all these components and the subcomponents in each one if I'm going to understand myself thoroughly. So without further ado, I will go ahead and speak briefly on these three components, and in the following lectures we will start delving deeper on this subject. What is the first component? The physical me. That real me that exists in this material world right now is what I call my physical me. That came into existence at birth and will disappear from this dimension of space and time at death. That is me. I have no recollection of where I've come from, and I have no idea where I'm going to go. And that is a reality. It's very difficult for me to embrace this fact, and it is based on this that our egos are being controlled by many religions and spiritual masters, so-called spiritual masters. But the truth is, nobody really knows where we have come from, and nobody really knows where we are going. We may have glimpses of certain realities that we existed in before we came on this planet, and we may have glimpses of certain realities that exist in a dimension where we plan on going to, or we have to go to when we leave this planet. But we don't know for sure how true they are when we really observe them. But we do know that this physical part of our being exists in this reality. The way I look at it, there is an absolute reality and there is a relative reality. The reality that I'm living in right now is the relative reality in this body, in this holistic universe, or this holographic universe, in this space-time dimension or continuum. And even that I don't really understand too well. But in the process of being on this planet, I have to embrace that this world is real. Many masters gone by have said, this world is not real. They are also right, but they were referring to this world from a totally different perspective. I still feel the pinch that I get from somebody, or I still feel the pain that my body experiences when it gets hurt. And that is my reality, and I got to embrace it. I can't say, oh, this pain is not real, let it go, does not exist. That's not true. In my relative reality, that pain exists, and it is extremely real. But coming back to the physical dimension, I divide this physical dimension into 5 components. And it's very important for me to know these very well. How do I work on this physical body of mine? Very important for me to know. I work on it with cardiorespiratory endurance. I work on it with strength training. I understand my body composition, I understand and work on my flexibility, and I work on my nutrition. So, in this physical component of my being, in order to stay healthy and to stay updated at all times, I have to work on these five. I have to make sure that I have strength training. And strength training can come in different forms, through normal hard work, or maybe by using different machinery like the ones that I'll get in the gym, or weights, free weights. These give me strength training. I also have to work on my cardiorespiratory endurance, that is walking, running, skipping, swimming, spinning or cycling. These are also important exercises. If the table has got one leg missing and it's supposed to be a four-legged table, then it will wobble. It will probably not even stand on its own. All four legs have to be there, and they also have to be balanced. If one is longer than the other, that table is going to be very shaky. And four of these components are those four legs of our physical body. So we spoke about strength training, and in the coming videos I'll be talking a lot more deeper on these subjects, dividing each individual aspect of these four legs. Excuse me. Cardiorespiratory endurance. As we grow older, we may want to slow down on our running because of the impact on our knees and start brisk walking. But that is important because we need to raise the heart rate. Body composition, we have to make sure that our body has got the right dimensions of things in it, not excessive fat, no excessive sugars. There is a whole new science of body composition which I'm going to talk about in my later videos. Then we have flexibility, a component that has taken a great lot of attention from the people of this world today through the science of yoga. Your body is like a river, and the river curves at the S bends, and it is there where the river slows down and starts depositing sediments. This sedimentation continues over time, and if it is not taken care of, then the river will stop flowing and a new pathway will be formed. The river from that point onwards will die and a new river will form. The same with the physical bodies. The energy flows and the joints in our bodies are like the S curves. And as we grow older, our joints start giving way. They are not able to manage this body. And flexibility and stretching are important in dredging those joints and removing inconsistencies so that the flow of energy goes well. This also has a psychic dimension as much as it has a physical dimension. So yoga helps a lot in this, and that is the fourth leg. So we have strength training, cardiorespiratory endurance, body composition, and flexibility. And the fifth one is like the tabletop. It governs what comes in as nutrition and what goes out. It is nutrition, the tabletop from which we eat. So, if our food intake is not proper, our body will suffer. If the river has dirty water in it, it is not a healthy river. The fish swimming in that river will die. And if this body is taking in junk, and I'm not necessarily referring to junk food, I'm referring to junk as far as this body is concerned, because there are certain things which are not healthy for the body. You don't put any type of petrol in your car, the engine will suffer. There is an octane level that you have to have. In the same way, there has to be an optimal amount of nutrition involved, health-wise, to keep your body healthy at all times. So in our coming videos, we will address all these five components in the physical reality of our existence. But like I said, we have three dimensions that in which we exist, in which we stay healthy. Physical, and the second one is mental. Mental is connected with the mind, so it's more than just the brain. The brain is connected with thought, but the mental body, which consists of the mind, is in every cell of our being. It's an intelligence that exists in every little part of our being. And many of the functions of this body are not even conscious. I can't control my heart rate. I can't control my blood circulation through thought, through conscious awareness. Of course, in advanced states of growth and evolution, men like yogis are known to have been able to address this factor of us and gain control over it, but that's an exception rather than the rule. So, in the mental dimension, I work through meditation. I am able to calm this body down. I am able to relax this body in every cell of my being. I am able to reduce the thought processes. And this mental aspect of our body, we are going to talk about in a separate video in the future. But before we go any further, let us understand that between the physical and the mental, there is a dimension which is very important for us to understand, and that is the dimension of breath. What the yogis call pranayama, harnessing of the life force, which can be done with the help of the breath. So I will also talk on a separate video about pranayama and how you harness this breath, how you work on this breath, and how through the proper means of using pranayama, we can actually access the mind. It's like a highway that connects two cities. That's what pranayama is. It connects the city of the physical to the city of the mental. And if your pranayama is not proper, you will not reach that mental region in a proper way. You may not even go there. You may be fooling yourself that you have arrived, but actually you're not even close to where you're supposed to be. So in the mental dimensions, we have meditations. We have different types of meditation addressing different factors of the mind. We know that the Buddha taught us vipassana through anapana, and then there is satipatthana and different things involved with meditation. But there is also creative visualization that helps the mind, where you can do things just by creating this universe in a dimension and taking it in that dimension by the power of our ability to visualize, the power of thought. If you can think of it and you can believe in it and act upon it, you can achieve it. So we'll be talking a lot in the coming videos about meditation. And then from meditation, which is dealing with the mental aspect of our beings, we go to the spiritual aspect. Now, psychosomatic is mind-body, but psychospiritual on the other end is mind-spirit. So, the last dimension of our existence is spiritual. But in order to get to the spiritual, we also have a road that connects the two, body, mind and spirit. So the mind and spirit is connected with the road, and that road is the road of intelligence. Psycho-spiritual is connected with healing powers. It is connected with the ability to go beyond things that can be fathomed by the mind. The yogis call them siddhis. The Christians call it the gift of the Holy Spirit. The Muslims call it taqat. Different religions have different names for the same thing. The ability to traverse the road of the psycho-spiritual and to come into the spirit. Many religions will not accept that you are a spiritual being until you can show spiritual power. And no man can get into the realm of spirit without going through the realm of power. Spiritual power is an important component of spiritual growth. But many people get trapped on this road. They get attracted to wealth, and not only just physical wealth, they get attracted to greed, to pride, to ego, and many times the yogi falls back into the physical. Time and time again. It's like climbing a very steep precipice, a cliff, and you go halfway and you get distracted and you have to start all over again, all over again. And somewhere along the line I will talk about how we can overcome the hazards on this particular path. Why the people who on the real spiritual path in the past would go and live in seclusion, live in monasteries away from sense gratification, because that can be one of the biggest factors that prevent us from achieving nibbana, samadhi, or the rapture. So we'll also be talking about the psycho-spiritual and then the spiritual. And there will be exercises along the way. So this is going to be a very big folder of different talks, of different approaches, but at the same time with one goal: to traverse the road of spirituality. And the road to spirituality goes through the mental bodies into the spiritual. So you start with the physical, with physical exercises, because if your car is not running properly, you're not going to be on the road for very long. You'll break down. In the same way, if you are sick or if your body is not properly strengthened to the postures, to the asanas, to exercises, then you will not be able to drive on this road to the mental part of your being. You will not be able to sit for very long in meditation when you arrive into that city of meditation. And once you have got into meditation, if you are not able to focus, dharana, dhyana, samadhi, if you are not able to concentrate, if your mind is wavering, if you are not able to concentrate and focus and be what the yogis call ekagrata, one-pointed in your search, then you're not getting very far in your realm of spirituality either. And you will keep falling back into the mental and back to the physical, and you'll never make it into the spiritual realms. You will never experience nibbana. What the Buddha called nibbana, what the yogis call samadhi, and what the Christians call rapture, what the Muslims call takat. All religions follow a similar path. It's the people at the beginning of the path that are fighting because they have never really tried to walk that path. A person who walks the path finds the commonality in all religions. And sometimes he also finds the divisive forces from all religions, because each one tries to claim to know the right thing and that everybody else is going to hell. Beware of these type of thoughts. Beware of this type of indoctrination. It's not going to get you very far. That is the way they enslave the minds of spiritual seekers, by telling them, if you leave my path, you're going to hell. That is not true. There are saints in all religions. There are spiritual masters in all belief systems. There is no belief system that cannot produce a spiritual master, because it's just a system that helps you to stay on the path. It's how you drive and how you are on the road that determines whether you get to your destination. So, without further ado, I will stop my rendition of whatever I had to say and look forward to seeing you in the videos to come. I'm going to try to make my videos such that you can pick any video and look at it, and you don't necessarily have to go through a particular sequence. That way, you can keep approaching this core spiritual approach that we have, and we are going to learn from any direction to any video, to understanding any part of what I have to say along the way. Looking forward to see you down the road. Namaste. Thank you for sharing life with me.